Saturday Social is powered by EA Sports FIFA 23 with PlayStation.
OK, it is Carabao Cup final weekend. And as we've got... Joey's very
excited.
Come on. Very excited. As we've got a Man United fan, well, two Man United fans, I should say, and the Newcastle fan in the studio, we thought, what else should we do but a combined 11? Now, the rules are very simple. This is going to be based on performances this season, so how the players have performed ahead of the Cup final, of course. Now, any disagreement, which I'm sure there will be some from the lads, Joe and I will decide which player goes on the infamous Saturday Social whiteboard based on the best argument put forward. So I think you've both agreed 4-3-3. Makes sense? 4-3-3. Formation. So goalkeeper, based on form this season, who is making our combined 11?
Nick Pope.
David De Gea.
In the middle of our goal.
10 clean sheets. More than Nick Pope's 9, I think it is. I'll say my argument,
That's competitions though, isn't it? 'Cause I think Nick Pope is, you know.
But my thing is with David De Gea, time and time again, I think he's been the player who saved us in situations where it could have gone left, innit? The keeper makes incredible saves.
Great save against
like
Arsenal.
day in, day out. And I think for him, the issue has always been the defence that was in front of him wasn't the best, and he was, having so much shots at him. Now we've got a better defence, and even when he's maybe not involved in the game that much, as soon as he's ready, he's always saving us, innit? And for me, that reason, he's just...
Leicester at the weekend.
He's just a consistent keeper for us,
Barcelona as well.
However, Nick Pope has been incredible this season, and I'm whoever does become the keeper, I won't be angry at, but I just have to say,
I'm going to say about Nick Pope. Nick Pope came into our team, and you have to admit that he has been a steal for the amount of money that we paid for him. Getting him from Burnley, a team going down, you'd think, do we really want that if we're going to do what we're going to do this season? But then again, nothing's been expected this season. So Nick Pope has been there, and as we get into the defence and things like that, synergy he's got with the guys in front of him. If you get through them, you don't get past Nick Pope. It's very rare that happens, and that's only been tested recently with a few sloppy goals here and there. And I think that one moment of madness against Liverpool shouldn't define his season. People were calling him an idiot for doing that, but that's just one thing. De Gea's had his mad moments in his time. Pope's had a pretty consistent season up until now, and I would say that he's pulled off just as many vital saves. I mean, the one against Palace saved the month, that one as well.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And De Gea done one against Palace as well. Do you remember, Edward?
Harry, you did start by saying that you want De Gea, but you could concede this one.
No, because I've been a big fan of Nick Pope as well. I think exactly what he said is been...
We're going with Pope then. We're getting Pope on.
Emil,
you get the...
I never really liked Smithy, to be honest. I never really liked him.
Good placement.
He's a tall man as well.
Let's go to the right-back slot then. Is this one feels a little bit more cut and dry based on this season? I feel like it's a tough argument for you.
I think that he's had an incredible season in terms of where he was last season. He's been consistent. I think he was out of the team for a bit because Dalot took over, came back into the team, and he's been incredible. However, I would have to go Kieran Trippier because he's consistent, head and shoulders above anyone in the league right now in terms of right back.
He's got to be one of the most informed right back in the league. Certainly up there.
If you get a takeover, who do you want coming in? I mean, do you want like the big money spending or something like that, or do you want the guy who's gone away and worked under Diego Simeone? He's got a bit of that dog in him, you know what I mean? And he's come back. Eddie Howe went and studied with Simeone. He went and watched the team there, so he had a bit of a bond with Trippier, and I think that's his most vital man, most vital signing. And I mean, just look, free kicks he's scored. Trippier is the voice of the team. He's been our captain this season, and I think any team in this league.
Well, then put him on. 1 goal, 6 assists this season. Captain the club. One of only 2 Newcastle players featuring every game this season. Most successful crosses, second most chances created of any player in the Premier League. One of the standout players. Trippier is in. Should we do the centre-backs together then?
Let's just stop there. I'm happy.
Yeah. Do you know?
I'm happy.
I think the centre-backs is the hardest.
Yeah, that is the hardest
battle.
Let's do the pairing.
So the defences have been so good.
Yeah.
So what I would say, these are my 2, obviously, Lisandro Martinez and Rafa Varane. But I'm only going to pick one of them.
I'm only going to pick
You're
one
so
of mine.
magnanimous.
Yeah.
In fact, hang on. Emil just said he's only going to pick one as well. So how are you going?
So I'm going with Lisandro Martinez. I think he's arguably been our most important player. I
think so.
You saw the game against Barcelona as well. He was so instrumental in actually breaking down any type of attack that Barcelona has, and against every single team. Even when we lost to Brighton, he was the standing player that I could actually say I played really, really well.
He took a lot of stick as well.
Yeah, I mean, certain people like Jamie Carragher said that that he wouldn't be able to compete in this league, and he's actually proved everyone wrong. I think he's a.
And if height's a problem, stick Sven Botman next to him.
And that's who I picked.
Rolls Royce of a defender. That's what it is.
I do want to say though is I do think Rafa Varane has to have a shout here. I think Rafa Varane has been unbelievable. Like at times you've seen Luke Shaw being able to play at centre back alongside Rafa Varane, and Luke Shaw still looks like unbelievable in that role.
You have Varane over.
Obviously, these two play on the same side, don't they? They're both left-footed, left-sided centre backs.
Are
we allowing that to
sweeping the balls
happen?
up, man? Though I mean, this is the thing. The win streak under Botman.
It's incredible.
Unbeaten in his first 20 Premier League appearances for Newcastle, which is incredible. He plays all the time as well.
He's the guy.
We're going with Martinez and Botman then?
I would go with that,
Okay. Botman didn't even go to the World Cup.
I'll just put it.
Didn't even get in the squad.
It is a
World Cup winner, by the way.
And look what happened. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, World Cup
where
winner.
they are blessed.
Look what happened.
World Cup winner.
World Cup winner.
Yeah.
Okay, left back.
Well, I've gone with Lucas da Silva Gilberto Carlos, another player who you can, like you said, you can play centre back, he can play left back, and I think him and Rashford on that left hand side have just built this kind of relationship along with Bruno as well. I think he is an unsung hero for Man United. I don't know what you're doing with that.
He's waiting to jump in.
But yeah,
No. I was just going to say.
I think for me, the best left back in England right now.
I can't. I mean, he's not even a left back. So you know, it's this, look, Dan Burn has been magnificent for us this season. He's a local lad.
You can just hold this for me and just put it.
Yeah. No, that's happening. That's happening. You can't really deny that. I mean, look, I love Dan Burn. He's from Blythe. You're never going to beat him. But in this time.
Can we just talk about the positioning of these backs? There's a lot of space in between the two centre-backs here.
No, do you know what it is?
I'll be right, you need a third centre-back.
You don't really chat to him like that. They're not friends. They're not friends.
You move them together while we go to the DM, the first of three midfielders.
Well,
now this is difficult, isn't it? Because
for who?
I think this is difficult.
Oh no, because what we're going to do is we're going to go for the 5-time Champions League winner, Casemiro.
Obvious.
Casemiro has to be in this.
He's in there.
How revolutionary is he?
It's a Brazilian.
Do you know what? When he first came to the team, obviously the first 3 games, it's like he was finding his feet a bit, but you could still see that the quality was there. And I don't know what's happened. He's just absolutely been faultless. Like when he was suspended, we felt it as a team. It was like, wow, we've lost Casemiro against the Arsenal game, and I just feel like he brings a level of control. The interceptions that he makes, they always breed attacks and stuff. So, and he adds goals into his game now, and he's got assists. So I think he's just been top player.
Should have seen my intake of breath when Lewandowski's foot went in the other night.
Oh yeah, over the ball, and he was down injured. Yeah. You think your intake was big, United fans? Yeah, honest. Not that you wish an injury on it.
No, never. No. I was just like, I get stuck in. Like, leave a bit on there. Yeah, you know. I think the other Brazilian needs to be in there. Bruno G. Bruno Guimaraes. He is the man. You know, I mentioned about Trippier. He's your seasoned guy. This is the unproven guy who came to a team in a relegation zone with all of his ability. I mean, he is just incredible.
How did Newcastle?
I don't know where.
But when they signed him in the relegation zone,
he's not happy with that.
Have you seen the big market?
Yeah, I know.
we said, Bruno, do you want to go for a night out on the cobbles? Yeah, man. And now, no, he can't stop going to the Brazilian restaurant in Newcastle because he loves it that much. He loves it so much.
Also, Newcastle with him, without him, they're like a completely different team. They haven't won. They failed to win any of the 6 games when he's not featured this season, and then when he has, it's so keen. Obviously, the timing of his suspension back for the cup final. Stick him on then.
It's weird because both of those guys have been suspended and come back for their first domestic game this weekend. Obviously, Casemiro's just come back.
Good team, innit?
I didn't get a word of that, Joe, because again, the positioning of the magnet.
All right, let's make that a bit. Understand. There you go. Yeah, a bit of space.
Probably a bit more in front.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to do for my next player.
Who's going in that role then?
Where's
Bruno playing?
Bruno Fernandes. Now, what I would say is, because we're going to do a 4-3-3, I was looking at all the midfield players that we have that have been consistent from the start to finish. Now, with Bruno this season, numbers hasn't been the greatest thing, but his influence in the team, I think 6 goals, 6 assists, that's like something that he's not probably used to as a Man United player. But however, the influence of this player is incredible. Without him, we don't have the transition. He's a leader in the team, and I think with Bruno, he's had his critics, but this season, more than anything, you can tell that he's our captain.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, the captaincy, because that is a big thing at Manchester United.
He's my captain.
Fans, isn't it? Because Harry Maguire is club captain, but pretty much the entire season, Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno is our captain.
Club captains is changing though, because I mean we've had Trippier all season. Lascelles is still the captain, and he's had so much influence just from being on the sidelines. He's actually got 2 yellow cards without playing this season.
He has as well.
That is a man who is winding up the opposition. He's doing his job from that sideline. So I can't really argue.
I saw
with
Ten
that.
Hag talking about that midweek as well, about the Newcastle time wasting. Like, it is a factor, isn't it? And even the subs are involved.
Man, he's giving it all out already. Stop making excuses.
What is going on with this alignment?
No. This is what we're doing. Look. There you go. Look.
Okay, let's make it a
Still, what is going on?
You know what it is?
Yeah,
I haven't gone to school for a minute, so
I have to say, Joe and I were talking about this earlier. That's pretty. I think that's a good.
I think
so far.
He's getting called Bruno though. That's the only thing. Because I mean,
he has to be called Bruno G.
He's Bruno G.
Yeah, and then it's Bruno.
Bruno.
Okay, so we're a 4-4 split as we move into the forwards.
I like it so far.
There's surely one name that is absolutely guaranteed here.
There's two, I think. You know,
Well, that is Callum Wilson, of course. Yeah.
I mean, he's up there.
You know what? I actually put Callum Wilson up front.
Callum Wilson is always going to get you goals. I know he's had a bit of a dry spell since he came back from the World Cup, but you know, if he's an inch away from goal, he's tapping it in.
Yeah.
He scored from some angles that I can't even fathom this year. I mean, his opener against, I think it was, actually, no, it was the one against Man City this year when he just kind of like flicked it around. I mean, that was a goal which just made me think we mean business this season. And I think that most teams would love to have a striker like Wilson in there. He's a good old-fashioned striker. You don't really see many of his type. And I mean, we were chatting before, saying how it's so hard to find like that out-and-out striker these days because the goals are coming from this area in the Premier League now, you know, with Salah and people like that, getting them. I think Wilson's still fine bet up front and he can lead your line, and then it's who's going to feed him.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you.
So you want Wilson?
Yeah, I'll take Wilson. I think I've watched Newcastle a lot this season, and even when he's
a
not
handsome
scoring,
man as well, man. Look at him.
Yeah, even when he's not scoring, he's an integral part of like linking up play. He can hold off defenders really well, and he does know where the back of the net is.
I'd say even when he's playing, you know, we've had Alexander Isak, Chris Wood was there for a bit of the season, and the strikers have been taught to free up that space so that people like Bruno, Joe Willock, Miguel Almiron can get in and try and get a few goals themselves.
Okay.
Speaking of,
exactly. Let's talk about the man himself.
The one and only Marcus Rashford.
Wow.
Like, what a player.
Yeah.
What a player.
Where does he rank for you in terms of best players in the world right now?
On form right now, I think he's the best player in the world right now. On form.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is the best player in the world, but I think in terms of the games he's played, the teams that he's played against, like even when we lost to Arsenal, that goal that he scored was incredible.
Likeability as well.
Like he's just, I think, off the season that we had last season, he's just showed that, listen, there is a player still there, and he can only get better under Ten Hag as well.
What do you put it down to, Harry? Because you just mentioned the turnaround there. It's incredible.
Do you know what?
I've
I've spoken to him quite a lot of times, and previously it was literally about the management. It was previously about like the club, the way the structure is. There's discipline. I think a big part of where we can see where Man United are this season was the fact that Ten Hag dropped him for being 30 seconds late to a meeting, and him saying, "Who am I to not get that as well?" I think the mentality of the team it's a happy place now to work, and I think we're seeing the best of Rashford, and there's going to be much more.
Confidence player.
Confidence.
He's coming back from the World Cup. I was so happy for him to have that. Like, you know, we love a redemption thing. I feel it with Carries, but like the main thing is that Rashford has come back from that World Cup after such a horrendous time at the end of the Euros that really tarnished that. To come back from that World Cup with people saying, "Why didn't you play him in the final? Why didn't you play him in this game? Why didn't you play him in that game?" He came back a changed man, and now he's got the manager that can unlock that.
Literally.
Most goals and assists of all players in the top 5 European leagues since the World Cup.
By a mile as well.
Rashford.
It's like 16.
I've been watching
Benzema on 10 or 11.
Osimhen, I've been thinking, well, he's been scoring every time. But when I looked at the numbers, it's not even close to Rashford.
Yeah, 20 goals and assists combined. You're right, 16 goals. Next best, 13 for Benzema.
Yeah, so playing Rashford off the left.
Yeah, there's been a lot of agreement here. Are we going to have
Can I just say,
a debate for last position?
we're going to debate it. We are going to debate it.
If Harry can find his magnet.
If I can. Well, yeah, there's a lot of them going over there.
Right, okay.
Harry finds his magnet.
Look, special case for Miguel Almiron because his form's been good, but he's got a new contract in Newcastle as well. I'm not sure he can do the whole, you know, goal season after season. But Joe Linton has been by far, I think, Newcastle's player of the season. He has been. He is. I mean, last season he was that anyway. But we were only just scraping the surface of what Joe Linton could do. If you want a player, when we go down to 10 men, such as in the semi-final when Bruno got sent off, he counted for 2 players in that game. He's a scary man to play against, and he bosses the midfield. If he is up for it, which he usually is, he's like, you know, if you've got someone in your corner in school who you want sticking up for you, Joe Linton's your man. He's going to fight for your team. He's adopted Geordie now, and let's be honest, he had such a tough start. He was a striker.
The turnaround.
Under Steve Bruce. I mean, like, he wasn't a striker at that time, and we kept getting told, oh, he's great, this left-handed midfielder. You know, when you see it, it'll happen. But now, Eddie Howe has created a beast. Yeah. He's changed him. He's changed him
Playing
so
really
much.
Well. Playing really
and have you seen his arms, man? I mean, I'd be picking him in this team, man. Otherwise, he'll be.
It's a 5-5 split at the minute. 5 Newcastle.
Do you know what?
5 Man.
I've got honourable mention for 2 players.
Okay.
They didn't make the team, but Anthony, simply because there's a player there. It's not easy to come to the Premier League. He scores a lot of important goals for Man United, and I think he's only going to get better and better with time.
And he gets a lot of stick
he does,
the fan base and from rival fan bases.
And he deals with it the right way by going on the pitch and scoring goals.
He kind of started off your resurgence.
Yeah, he did.
He got that goal. Was it in the
Arsenal, his first game against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And for me, and then the second player is what a player this player is going to be. I'm just saying, just for honourable mention to Garnacho, I think he's a great super sub for us to have at this precise moment until he's able to nail it down. But I actually picked Miguel Almiron.
Okay.
Because I really like watching him play, yeah? And I think on the right-hand side, the way he's able to just find space, and when you're on form, you're on form. I think he's an incredible player for them. As much as Joe Linton is as well,
it's up to you then, I suppose.
Unsung hero for me. I really like.
You could go for like a 4-4-2 almost and play Callum Wilson and Rashi up top and then...
See, Joe Linton, he's not getting into that middle bit well. They're there. So... if you're saying Almiron, with Trippier in the team, they've kind of got this little...
They've got
that little flick thing going on, which most teams have worked out. If Ten Hag's watching right now, forget it. It's not a thing. You didn't see anything.
Morning, Eric.
Morning, Eric. Cheers. Yeah.
Morning, Dad.
You know what? I think that Joe Linton would concede to Almiron because for the good of the team, he'd do that.
There we go.
And
put him on.
Miguel.
There we go.
So that is the combined 11. So Newcastle...
Do you know what's so crazy? That's actually the team that I picked.
Yeah.
It's actually...
Bar Nick Pope.
I've got to say, we've done a lot of combined 11s over the years. Pretty solid, that one, Joe.
Very solid, but maybe the worst place.
What about...
It's so left-sided.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see some...
This is for the people that are lying in bed, that are seeing it from the other side.
Angle.
What about
managers? Now, this
well, of course, the bold Dutch Stone Cold Steve Austin. Eric Ten Hag. Do you know why I say this? And the reason why I say this, and everyone knows, if you've watched the show, I've been an honourable fan of Eddie Howe, and you laughed at me, yeah? I'll never let you forget
Joe,
that.
you
laughed at me
when he said Eddie Howe.
Look, the argument was correct. The man for Manchester United. And you put Eddie Howe forward.
I did.
At the time, I was not convinced.
I believed in him.
You now believe he is the man.
Honestly, Eric Ten Hag, for what he's done at Ajax, there was a lot of praise about him in Europe, about getting to a semi-final. Obviously, if not for the Lucas goal from Tottenham, he probably would have been in the final. But in the 7 months he's been at Man United, 8 months, whatever, how long it's been, the way he's changed the club, not just on the pitch, but outside, how fans view the club, you can see that there's a structure going forward. And to do that in such a short space of time, I don't think any manager, bar Pep, in their first season, and even Jose Mourinho, has got to a cup final straight away. And for me, it's like incredible. He's been in the Premier League longer. So my point is, I just think Ten Hag is just head and shoulders above everyone right now.
But where were you when he came in?
We was under
we were 19th.
We had Ragnick.
19th.
We had a sporting director as our manager.
We were 19th.
But listen, be honest with you, Saudi takeover has allowed things to, you got money. You have money.
Played under Steve Bruce.
We're broke.
Under Steve Bruce. Most of this pile that has disappeared from now on is playing under
After
Steve
Sunday
Bruce.
when we beat
Fabian
you,
Schär
Sunday when we beat you, this is going to
finished.
make so much sense.
Matt Ritchie was a shell of his former centre.
Eric Ten Hag, invest in ETH. Trust me, stocks are going up.
Club.
Well, I'm going to leave it with you two guys, actually, because this is a way better manager. Eddie
Howe is the next great British manager.
Great British, what, for the Olympics? Well, if I'm being honest, look, this man is going to change the shape of what Man United is, and everybody can see it.
Tough one, this, isn't it?
But this is Newcastle's Ferguson. This is our.
Is any of you happy to concede that both?
Did you see the picture of Ferguson and him going for dinner the other day?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, do you know he was teaching Ferguson?
You don't see him going for dinner with Kevin Keegan.
I'll love it if they lose. I'll love it. Yeah.
To be fair, he did. We need a decision. He said he might be bringing Keegan into.
Well, I'm honestly.
The two top managers.
Look, I'm putting him right here.
How about assistants?
Quickly, he's put it on. Harry's put it on, which does mean it's 6-6, doesn't it? Which is fair.
Fair play. You know what? Well done.
Ten Hag's done a great job.
Let's
get your score predictions.
Sorry, Eddie.
Obviously, Nick Pope won't be playing.
3-1 Man United.
How much of a blow is Nick Pope?
It's fine, man. Look at him. Look at Carey. No, it is a massive blow. I think more for the man himself. You know, Howe said he was visibly distraught afterwards, and you don't want that. You don't want to see a player just from one moment of madness. But this is how it works. Obviously, there's a a little bit of a dent in the confidence, but I would much rather come at this from an underdog feeling, because that ignites the spirit, and that's kind of what Eddie Howe wants to harness.
It's a long score prediction.
Yeah, he's worried here. He's nervous.
Because the game's going to be long.
Go on.
It's about lasting.
Still waiting, score?
1-0.
Oh, you dream about it at night. You dream about it.
There is confirmation, by the way, of their joint combined 11 based on performances this season. Let us know what you think of that combined 11 at home.